Okay, so we have a pole vaulter. They give us the mass of our pole vaulter, and they give us the initial velocity that they're running with. And then we have their final velocity when they're up at the top. So if we're going to draw a situation of what's going on here, we have our person who is initially running, and they have their vault. And so we can figure out the type of energy they have. Initially, it's just kinetic energy. And so their original kinetic energy is going to be equal to 1/2 the mass times the initial velocity squared. Now, whenever they get over here on the right side, let's change to a new color. When they get over here on the right side, they're going to have the bar that's at some height up here, and we'll have the vault, and they're going to go over the bar with some velocity here, so they still have a little bit of kinetic energy, some final kinetic energy here, and that is 1/2 the mass times the final velocity squared. So what we should do, because ultimately what we're trying to figure out is the height of the bar. And there's a little trick to do that. But let's go ahead and figure out what our energies are. So the original kinetic energy that we started off with, that would be 1/2 of 51 multiplied by my initial velocity is 11 squared. And that gives me 3,085.5. So that's how much joules of energy we start off with. Okay, well now whenever they get up to the top, they're going to have less energy because they have less velocity up here. And so we'll plug in 1/2. Mass is still 51. The velocity up here at the top is 1.7. And don't forget to square that. So the kinetic energy final would be equal to 73.7. Okay, so we have our initial energy and our final energy, and the trick here is to figure out, well, where did the rest of the energy go? Because if we started off with 3,085.5, but at the end I only had 73.7, that means that there's a loss of energy here. And the difference would be 3,011.8. Okay, so where did that energy go? Well, that energy went into the height. That went into the gravitational potential energy. So it went into PEG. So I know how much gravitational potential energy we have. And if I want to find the height, all I have to do is take that gravitational potential energy, like what we did yesterday in the lab, and we're going to divide that by mg. So I'm going to do my number divided by, make sure you put the parentheses on the bottom or everything will mess up. 51 times 9.8. So my height should be equal to 6.02 and 6. And that is our final answer for height.